All right. Well, I'm not sure what's going on with Ramona, but I know she's in between spaces, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm making it a practice that when we start these shows at the appointed time, we'll go ahead and start them. So I sent her a note and told her that we would be live when she came in. So I'm not really sure what's going on with her. But as they say, the show must go on, right? Hello, Sarah. How are you? Wow, what a bunch of energy coming in. It's just gotten more and more. It's quite humbling and yeah, clear in a weird way. So we'll give it a few minutes. I haven't heard from her. Let me just check my email. Sent her link. Let me double check that. Ramona, yeah, I sent it. Okay. Hey Bronte, how's it going? Intense, yeah, it is intense. It's quite moving. I've been like everybody, just going through things and trying to function. That's quite the challenge. Yeah, she did respond on the Facebook post. I know she was, yeah, because I exchanged text with her like 45 minutes ago. It's all right. Anytime we have technical difficulties, it's always a great show. I feel like we're going through a lot of changes right now. Very deep, deep changes. I'm not sure if anybody wants to comment. We got 5 hearts in the house, so feel free to make a comment. If you haven't hit the heart, please hit the heart so we can get a count. Yeah, things have just been. Now she's. Let me just double check. Yeah, so she can text me on the phone, just what we went to. Oh, there she is. Here we go. See, I knew she'd be here. Yeah, this is what happened to us last time too. That's what happens when high energy people come on. All right, let's get the show on the road. Just a little bit further. Okay. Oh, Ramona, we are live already, just to let you know. I don't want you to think that we're not live. Hello, Angela. That's a beautiful name. Udon. Welcome. Okay, let's see. Let's get. There she is.
Finally.
We're going to call you Christmas. Just messing with you.
Sorry.
No. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, good. One sec, I actually get my headphones because I can't hear you that well.
Yes, go ahead. Take your time. Yeah, I just went ahead and started the live, just because we're not on social media, for the full length. So
sorry, just give me a second, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Hey Angela. Angie Parker. Angela rhymes with Michelle. Angela. Michelle. Angel. Yeah. Cool. Learn something every day. Hello, Tiffany Charbonneau. Got a lot of French influence in 3 or 4 of the names here. Yeah,
so sorry, I'm in a new place and I can't find my headphones. Just one sec.
It's okay. Don't worry. Take your time.
Otherwise, I'll try without.
Hello, Tanya. Hello, Maureen Berkeley. What's happening? Getting a little crowd in here now. See, these human things that we do, they become quite challenging. I'm talking about what we were talking about earlier with the energy. Mhm. How many of us are tech challenged? Bonjour. Hello. You know, for everything that's happening, how do you even describe it? This is a good place to come for me. It's nice
I
to
have
get
no
here.
idea where we tried like this.
Here, I can turn my
You were
microphone.
talking earlier
How's
on.
that? How's that?
Yeah, it's much better. Can you
Okay.
hear me okay?
Oh, I hear you fine. I just turned my mic
Okay,
up.
good. We just leave it like this. I don't know where I used to have two pairs of headphones and I can't find.
I go through the same thing. That's what I was just talking about. How many of us struggle with these 3D things now?
Oh my God, I hate all of these AI things. I want my headphones.
You're good. I can go louder if you want me to.
I just know I took them out and it's driving me crazy because not crazy.
Yeah. Yeah,
Divine
we're already
crazy, let me
we're
say.
already crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's just, you know, I prefer to hear it like that. And
Yeah.
so I
Well, you look fantastic. You look very good.
thank you.
Yes, you look very good. Looks like you're going through the metamorphosis that so many people have been talking about all this time, going from a carbon-based body to crystalline. I don't know. I just really enjoyed the last time we connected, and I'm so happy. This is the first spontaneous Soul Speaks 5D we've had on the new platform, and this is episode number 45, which is a 9, which is cool. But Ramona, welcome back, and tell us what's happening. Tell us anything you want to. Give us a download.
Quantum completions. Nothing less, brother. That's what we're doing here. So let's finish all of this bullshit because there is no time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got that last time. And everything did shift in March. And I mean, there's a lot of things happening. The most important thing really is to get, and I do get on about this a lot, is there is no time. The only real reality there is right now, right here. Everything else is perception, imagination, projection, and, you know, memory that's not really accurate, or it's subjective, but that's really our whole perception of reality. So we really fully have entered the quantum space. Like, so I'm going to share, because what I'm going to do today also is like kind of, that's why I was asking earlier, I would have otherwise done like an update myself. So I'm going to combine this.
Okay, cool.
So really what has happened, there've been a lot of Schumann resonance blackouts over the last 2 days, I think 4 so far. 3 of them like about an hour, and 1 of them like 7-hour blackout earlier today, I think. It's hard to keep track of linear time. But basically, so what I've been experiencing is, so I was being shown that yesterday, today, tomorrow, so the 25, 26, 27th is the completion, quantum completion. And I was being shown like kind of uplifting images. Like I've been sharing in my last update as well. It's very frustrating because lately there's a lot going on, and we can go more into that in a moment. There's just been a lot of messages when I feel connected, and yesterday I didn't really feel very connected. But generally it's like, surrender, let go, surrender, let go. Like that's the general message. And it's like, can I see anything here? Kind of like, what's ahead? You know, it's like, surrender, let go. It's like the most frustrating thing ever, because I'm very happy to do things. And we do go through many layers of surrender, many deaths, you know, and resurrections. But for me, this is the ultimate one. This is just it. And I think some of us can feel this. If not, try and tune in, because it's happening outside of time. It's even happening outside of where anyone thinks they're at. Because if you take time, space, and gravity out of it, we're literally one. You know, we're source experiencing itself through infinite perspectives. So there's not one perspective which is the same. So you're not looking at me the same, you know, as I look at you the same as anyone who's watching this is looking at us in the same way. It's always filtered through belief systems, ultimately, which we would have called ego lenses, but the ego is fully dissolved now. Through the sea of true divine love, which is source consciousness, which is what is like, this is the rebirth of the cosmos. Tingles, 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 in no time whatsoever. One consciousness, there is no time, there is no space, we're all one, as well as our own unique individual selves. That's what we're rebirthing. So the singularity within the singularity. And there's an organic version of that. So what's been sold to us as singularity in an AI version is like, just forget it. It's a dream. You need to remember you're in a dream. You're projecting all of this. This is all based on the deepest held beliefs and expectations of the one mind, the one consciousness, because there's really just one of us here. Everything else has been totally surrendered, let go of. The energy, frequency, and vibration. To see yourself in a field, in a bubble. Unicrystal, Sapphire, Diamond, Rainbow, Plasma, Aurora, Light, Body, and Bubble. Your travel vehicle. Your Merkaba vehicle. And what I can see completing is now we are already like up to 60. And we're now doing 7 to 15D, full merging, full unification. And this is rebirth in the whole cosmos within God source consciousness, nothing less. So everybody knows themselves as God. All of this has been a bad dream. We remember the lessons, but everything else is just forgotten. So the matrix is just a dream. What you're seeing is 95% artificial overlays, and they're fully dissolving right now. What I was experiencing yesterday was a total death. I was literally like, take me.
Yes.
I'm done here. I'm so fucking done. But then I was reminded that when I go through this is like all like the cosmic mother, like what I was experiencing is the cosmic mother is like a reverse birth of all the iconics, reptilians, negative entities, artificial beings, architecture systems, materials, everything. And reverse birthing it. And I was going through like the, you know, good clearing. And then I was like, and very disconnected feeling. And then the message was like, for what is happening just happened. It's like, this is nothing. Because this is like, all of this shit is going right now. And I believe we can be done by the end of the 27th if we want to be linear. Like, this is it. Like, again,
I resonate with you. I just want to ask you a quick question. That when you said surrender, the way you said it, I kind of got a giggle out of it. But my thing was a couple of days ago, and I tried to explain a little bit of it yesterday, but it was it was beyond surrender. It was breaking my will. It was me saying, okay, whatever, okay, I'll do whatever you know, where your will gets broken. And the intel was like free will gets broken. And it was basically telling me it's not free will, it's freedom, right? It's free will is something that is applied in this realm that interferes. It creates, you know, it creates energy onto somebody else's space or gets in their lane or whatever. It was this crazy download, but the way it started was, this is beyond surrender. You know, how many times have I had my will broken? And it reminds me of how that felt when you were saying that. So please continue, because heard from a few different people about this period of time, but I hadn't heard anyone specific. I don't know if Morgan did, but like the 25th, 26th, 27th, that's what you said?
Yeah.
Where
And
it gets finalized in a way is what you're saying?
yeah, and
Okay.
it's quantum, but it's obviously when we speak about linear dates, like I've been shown, was it since the 555? Like the 555, the 5th of this month was major. That really
Right.
brought on collective Kundalini. So happening within the planetary body as well as collectively. So that's why everybody's feeling wide open. It's like it's been, you know, it's like the Kundalini has been, the currents have been inverted, like a lot around, you know, our coccyx,
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
Root
that's right.
chakra area.
Yeah.
All the sexual energies have been very much inverted.
Right.
So, as well as the Kundalini energies, which we know, you know, like our energy, you know, the central, they run up our central channel, or there should be. And basically, that was on the 555, that was triggered at the collective Kundalini, or rather the Kunda ray, which is an extended Kundalini current, which gets you to 12D, 15D, and really is connecting you back to the God worlds. So that's where you want to be at, because Kundalini just gets you to 90. And the Kunda ray is really the threefold founder flame, or the threefold flame as many know it, which is like the original sound and light fields of creation. So before we come into form, even crystalline liquid light, which we're turning back into right now, we are sound and light fields, vapors and so forth. And then we come into more and more denser forms. And they have also been messed with. So it's not just 5D, it's not just even 7, 8, it's not even just 12D. It's 13 to 15D, which have been messed with, which were previously like 13D for me is the mother frequency, the mother arc. 14 is the child, the golden child, or, you know, Christ child. And then 15D is the father, divine father, archetypal energies. And those are also of the threefold founder flame. So the mother is blue, child is golden, father is this kind of magenta, violet, pink. And they have been also corrected along with the emerald ray. This is all connected to, you know, we can talk about the rays, we can talk about the original gray lines, queens and kings, which are really the founder races, the original guardians, which we are here to, like, we are them.
Right.
So we are not waiting for any ETs, any guardians, ascended masters to come down, although they might appear in some way, shape, or form. But we are really an embodiment of all of these archetypes unified as one, because what you need to do as part of ascension is really merge with God source consciousness. So this is not just like, you know, going horizontally, but really vertically, like you are God. That's what we need to remember, because we are rebirthing the cosmic playing field creation within the one consciousness, because it's all a hologram. This is not as complicated as some people want to make it. For me, it's always been about a dream scene change. So this is like you waking up from a dream as you do every morning, and all of a sudden you're back on new earth, because this is the only true reality there has ever been. Because what you're seeing now is all based on inverted, upside down belief systems, thought forms that are not congruent.
Mm-hmm.
As we've seen, especially over the last 3 years. And they, you know, it's based on, we need to see it for what it is. It's a collective psychosis bordering onto schizophrenia, where you do not understand, see reality for what it really is. And the split in timelines is already happening well underway, where you can see people are either letting go of their ego, or they're going down with the ship any freaking moment now. But there's nobody dying here, nobody's lost, because it's all just a dream, and your individual self is a projection of the God mind, of the God heart and mind of God, the Godhead, you know what I mean? And we are just dreaming ourselves into existence every moment. But this is obviously a big undertaking. It doesn't just happen every moment. But we're leaving all of the Kali Yugas behind, all of the circles, all of the cycles, all of the karmic stuff, all of the, so a big part of yesterday was also, I started off with clearing all of the fucking black magic and spells, curses, hexes, the remaining ones from the collective field that have held our abundance it's like, you know, it's like there and it's not coming down. And this is fully clearing it. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, I believe, trust, have faith, we're done here. And it's already energetically in a way done. Many of us can feel today psychic attacks, all of the shit. They're done. They're fucking done for. Thank you for your service. And I
Thank
won't
you
see
for your
again.
service.
Returning to the Godhead. So any iconic AI, all of this, you know, I mean, it's been a long process, but I see this is fully being resolved now. And what were you saying again? Because this was very relevant about, what were you saying?
Well, that download came in about how many times in my life has my will been broken, where I've submitted to something.
Free will.
Yeah.
What is free will?
Right.
So there is no free will as such, or there is now. In a way that, so if you think about, so what has all of this even been about? It's like God, which is us, has given his children, his offspring, the opportunity to learn between right and wrong, good and bad for themselves, but in a very multidimensional sense. Because what we've experienced in religion and a lot of spirituality is dogmatism, it's right, wrong, good, bad, all of this, which keeps us in polarity consciousness. So I was getting at that. Free will. So basically, God has given us free will to experience, you know, before it would be like you're in the Garden of Eden. Just, you know, let's take the Adam and Eve story for a archetypal story, because that's how I see everything. Symbolism, archetypes, you know, and that's what we are. We are resembling, you know, we are here to be the new archetypes of the new cosmic Christ. What does it mean to be a solar masculine feminine within this androgynous blueprint? Yeah, that's what we are remembering, an ancient future version of us that's quantum style already always ascended. Okay.
Right.
But as well as we are, you know, we are also creating it. We are creating our own blueprint, because it's like we are reawakening, and this is it. Like this has been the full, like yesterday was like the end of everything that has been. And we are
Let me ask you this.
done. Yeah.
Well, it's on the same thing. I just wanted to say, what, and you're probably going to go there anyway. What do you think it's going to look like after the 27th or 28th, and this really sets in? What do you think it's going to look like? Will we even be?
I don't know. It's a short answer.
Yeah, true. Well, that's the whole thing.
I'm shown so little in advance.
Yeah.
And sometimes I even, you know, I'm like, why did you say this afterwards? And it's just like, just trust it. I mean, ultimately, I really hate even giving dates.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just, the other thing is too,
when I'm shown, and I'm more and more so shown, especially over the last 10 days or so, I was shown. Like, I need to keep, like, you know, I just say whatever I say. Again, it's always like, take what resonates, leave the rest. Ultimately, it has already happened. We're just quantum merging with that.
I've been feeling it since early in the month. Maybe it was the 5th. I don't remember, but you know, I've been feeling. I've been telling Morgan, I feel something coming on. It's looming. There's something there. I can feel it. I can feel it right now as I'm talking about it. And it all to me kind of pointed towards. And I don't really do that kind of thing, but like towards the end of the month, like the 30th. And I just feel like something like impending, like huge. Has you know, hasn't got done with us yet. I mean, like, yeah,
and you need to keep holding the vision and the frequency. Ultimately, you're in the, like, what we are asked to do is hold the 0 point field,
right,
which is really you being in divine neutrality, oneness, and love, which doesn't look like some believe it to be. You know, it's not just being nice and easy breezy all the time, but also, you know, having boundaries and discernment. I think many of us have been shown that that is necessary, and cutting out all the karmic stuff. So like each person needs to decide themselves, you know, are they going down with the ship? Are they clinging on to their ego and going down with the false matrix, because some are? Or are they just letting it all go because we've learned our lessons, we've done the work, And again, it's also connected to soul groups. So don't worry about anyone and where, again, anyone is or what you're going through right now. Anything shifts in a blink of an eye, ultimately, you know, like it might be a big run up, but then, you know, the full collective awakening will ultimately happen in a flash. Definitely. I'm not waiting for a solar flash. It's more of an inside out event, which is about the full heart opening, especially of our the God seed, the Christ seed atom in our high heart, and it's already all well underway. It's connected to these, you know, collective Kundalini, Kundalini currents now running, and the more we can hold the 0 point field within the shitstorm going on and the 3D matrix going down, and many of us have been, you know, like been asked to, I don't know, move homes, sell their homes, or jobs, you know, quit them, or relationships. It's a huge time. Anything karmic, anything that's not in alignment with your true, authentic self has to go. And it's very obvious now. You know, it will just jar your field. You just cannot align with these old ways of being and thinking and, you know, anymore, if you're aligned with New Earth, so to say. And I just wanted to come back to the free will. So if you think about the Garden of Eden, you would have just followed, you know, God's commands. And the apple is kind of representing, okay, go down into the underworld of the collective unconscious. How bad can it get here? Experience everything you can possibly
How bad
imagine.
can it get here?
And then come all the way back around and say, what the fuck? That's not what I said.
Well, see, yeah.
This was really stupid. And now we have the perfect recipe. This is about an expansion of consciousness.
Yeah.
And we're merging shadow and light, the fallen and the risen angelic. And you need to, you know, like the dark parts of you have a lot of gold in them. You need to be able to be angry and, as I like to say, have 1% psychopath in you, and be able, if someone is coming down into your village and is trying to grab your children, you're gonna fucking shoot them if you need to, all right?
Right.
If you're not there, I'm sorry, but you need to.
1%
No, the
psychopath.
warrior spirit is huge. You need to break through this shit. Like, you know, I mean, again, it's not about being aggressive, but once we've broken through all of this and our boundaries and everything has been reaffirmed, this is so much part of you healing your whole morphogenetic field. And then this stuff doesn't come up anymore, because we're now, you know, we've learned everything we needed to know. So this stuff doesn't need to come up. It doesn't only come up. So, you know, like people keep triggering you. So you keep reclaiming your freaking power. This is all about you reclaiming your power.
Right.
Because we've given it away. And yeah, it takes taking back, because we kept giving and giving and giving it away, you know. So it's taken us a while to get here. And yeah, it takes some repetition and reaffirming to say, okay, so far, no further, because you need to be in integrity with your own word. That's a big thing here. Big thing. Because a lot of people, especially in religious and spiritual communities, do a lot of projecting. So let's just finish quickly before I forget. So the free will is, so Garden of Eden, take the apple, and now you find out for yourself, just as we do with children. This is hot, don't touch the flame. Ah, it's hot, why did you tell me? I did tell you. It's kind of like that, okay? So, and some didn't learn, and I kept projecting it onto others and keep stuck in ego. They're going down with the ship. Nobody's dying here besides some false ego perception, because we're all one here and only the ego dies. Yeah. So that's where you need to merge with your eternal consciousness that doesn't die, has never been born, is fearless, limitless, boundless, and is fully liberated. You need to reclaim this from within, but you can only do this if you fully, you know, let go of all this karmic shit, everything that's not in alignment, where you keep giving your power away and let people be feeding off you, or you know what I mean? Everything that's not in balance.
Yeah.
And what's not in alignment, and it's very self-explanatory right now with your true self. So you're given free will, but then the issue is, obviously, as we've experienced, what is really free will? Because you're driven by programs.
Right.
You're driven by mind control. So again, you don't really have free will, because you're just running on autopilot until you've been activated. Some people call it awakening. I believe there's only one true awakening, which is happening right now, of the one consciousness. That is still somewhat a little bit slumbering, but we're fully, you know, through these activations now, fully connecting back to the Godhead and God's source consciousness. So it's like, it's like the collective consciousness is waking up to that it's God. It's like, and we like fell asleep behind the steering wheel, and it's like, oh wait, but it's all of us, like those that are in frequency alignment. You need to have a certain amount of heart opening, because it is all about the heart space being open enough, because there's something called like a black heart affliction, and I could feel it last night how you get there. Really, I was there. I felt so disconnected. I felt so contracted and like apathetic.
Yeah.
And like I could feel, and I've been there before, and I can feel that consciousness, you know, as it's been returned to source. It's like literally sometimes when we feel like suicidal, or like when these dark energies are being fully released, like I literally felt like, fuck, just take me right now. But I can also then was reminded, no, it's these energies. They ultimately want to go back to source. You know, it's like, it's the torture to keep torturing other people. You know, we need to understand this is all mental illness. Once you really understand that, you can transcend your anger, you know, if there's still some, and judgment, because you need to understand, how can anyone get to these states that we know some beings have, you know, descended into in consciousness, and that happened over many, many lifetimes.
Right.
But free will, I mean, ultimately, who is the one talking, speaking, thinking here anyway? It's the one consciousness. So even if you think of AI, even if you think of anything that's been going on, there's still God playing us all.
That's right.
Who I have so many, I still have, you know, like even today I said something, I was like, where did this come from? It's quite, you know, it was quite harsh in a way. But then later in our show, no, this was exactly what was needed. It's
That
like,
sounds
you need to be in
interesting.
a no bullshit zone right now.
Right.
Don't take fucking bullshit, because this is you having a fully sovereign field. And the morphogenetic field of the planet is fully healing. We're 60 and beyond. Again, within SI 15D. So I do believe any moment now we're wakening up from the dream. And again, so just to finish with free will. So then you're under mind control in a way, and under programming. Then as we are activated, you know, coming into more and more awareness, then we start having some kind of free will. But again, who's playing us?
Right.
I don't believe there is ever free will. I think it's very misunderstood, because then in the end, it's that where we are right now. It's just surrender, surrender, surrender. Your ego will, which is the ego, is basically just a bunch of algorithms and programs. It's not a real person.
True.
It's like your real self is, you know, your true self is beneath it. It's not as if you have to reinvent it or anything. It's just like it's been forgotten in a way, you know, because it's been programmed out of us.
See, that's a really good point that you're saying, because I hear people, and I'm not you know, throwing shade on anyone, but you're making me think. You're actually, the way you explain it's a lot like Franco. But when people talk about your ego's not going anywhere, I know the ego has diminished, but it's never resonated with me that what we're doing or where we're going or waking up to, that there's an egoic quality to the level of the distortion we've had in this realm. To me, it feels like it becomes a non-thing. You know, I mean, what
it's an illusion, just like the Matrix. It helps us discover how far we can go when we're disconnected from source. Because it's like an AI machine. It's connected to this AI hive mind.
Right.
It's just having you run on autopilot. And people are especially plugged in through TV and stuff like this. Then we all have AI in our bodies. It has been, and this is fully disconnected now. So the organic new hive mind,
Right.
in a way, has been activated. This is us as starseeds being now the new transmitters, like radio stations of God source consciousness. So you just need to worry about what consciousness are you projecting in every moment, because this is going to affect the people around you. So as you keep seeing the divine in all things, whilst you also take no bullshit, this is sorting out all of your realities, because it's really just a projection anyway, like a holographic projection. But again, by the one mind, you know, so you're not some demigod here who's fully in charge. we are trying to agree here at the big consciousness be mind level, organic level, and it's already happened. And it's just kind of rolling out where we all, you know, where you're telepathically connected to every cosmic being across the cosmos, across
Right.
time and space. So you can just, you know, it's your own interconnected telepathic communication network with, let's talk to, I don't know, Usanata in Sirius B, you know, and you're going to connect to them, which is an aspect of you or your soul family. And at the broadest level, all of this is you. You're just another aspect of me, and we're just projecting one another onto the screen right now and having this conversation. But as I'm seeing it, it's just, you don't need to try and figure it out with your little mind. Keep dropping your mind, ego mind, because the thing is, there's a difference, and we just use words here, and people sometimes get hung up on words and definitions, and everybody understands different things, but different words. But it's like the ego is like a false self. It's like a false ego self. And again, this is kind of very much programmed, these inverted thought forms and belief systems. It's not congruent. And that's also why nobody likes themselves and is at war with themselves, because it's like, yeah, it's your false self. It creates a lot of bullshit. It's at war with itself, and it's not congruent, because these thought forms and belief systems don't make sense in the end of the day, don't they? So you can only really be in love with your true self, which all of this is really about. And it's really like built into your DNA, you know, but it's your consciousness, your conscience speaking to you really in every moment of what is aligned and what is not aligned. You know, I still sometimes need to not speak the truth in certain moments, because that moment or the person is not ready for it. And, you know, you don't need that.
Right.
So you need to, you know, wage the, you know, but you're still projecting an aura of truth, and like, kind of, don't mess with me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to give them the full truth, but there are some kernels of truth there.
You're not saying something in the best interest of everything.
But a big thing is what people are saying and what's actually being transmitted. And as we're fully transcending this lower realm words, I mean, you know, there's so much bullshit, as we know, that people are talking, and what's being really behind the words is much different. And as we're fully tuned in with our true self, you can read through the bullshit. If somebody is not in their true self or in my field and lies and manipulates, it jars my field so much. It's just going on in my field, so I just can't be around that. No.
Do you interact on a personal level? Do you interact with a lot of people, or do you spend a lot of time alone?
I've created my own group container, my own tribe, which was shown to me at the end of March. So I have a little group going there, and that has really been really, really nice. Wow. To have that support where I can also feel I'm being supported, especially at the moment as so many changes are taking place. And it's because, you know, when we share a lot just online freely with people, there is a lot being projected back at us that's not nice energies. And it's like, okay, it's kind of part of where we're at, you know, and part of the role. But then you also then need to, which you've also done, you then need to say, okay, those people who are really valuing what I have to offer also need to give something back. Because I've done so much, you know, for free and on donation, whilst taking a lot of shit. And so this is a beautiful container where we also like just, it's very alchemical. We have done like literally helped heal the cosmic monad through this container, because it's like it's all about the return of the gray lines and the ESSENEs and the original tribes, and bringing them back together as one tribe. So it's really about bringing everyone, the whole cosmos, together back as one tribe. And it's like, whenever we're speaking, if there's only one of us here, you know, it's like whether it's 2 people, 3, 4, 12, 500, you know, 20,000, it's basically the same, especially where we're at now, at one minute, which we're fully merging. And, you know, again, it's this activation of everybody. The awakening is everybody remembering themselves as one. We will just remember what has truly happened. Basically a past that is free of inversions and the fallen consciousness. Because we've already, so all the fallen timelines, all the fallen realities have now gone. Like what has happened over the last 2 weeks is like amazing work, everyone. Really.
Yeah.
And I know everybody's involved in this, has just different layers, you know, of perception of it, but we're done. This is done. And yeah, this is done.
Wow. Wow. It's exciting. That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm just recuperating right now.
Yeah, I mean,
That
so
was
much
a lot.
So much of what you said. I mean, the thing that happened in March. I know other people that launched stuff in March. We launched in March. You launched in March. Yeah, the energy on these shows, people started saying from the very beginning, "Wow, it feels different here." And I didn't even think about it, but then I realized I felt different, and it seemed to be more sacred space, a more transparent space. My heart will rumble a lot during these shows, like when you were talking, like I can feel something happening. Then what you said about the taking on that other energy, I think that's the difference, because on those other 4,000 shows, that there was always a lot of energy. It was all, I could tell the difference immediately. So something's happening there. And I think to what part of what you were saying is those steps that some have taken to develop new containers are very powerful quantum actions. They have they don't have, it's not a linear effect here. It's a quantum effect.
Yeah, because just think of Joshua. He had only 12 disciples. You don't need that many. 12 is the magic number for sure. 15 is extremely good. Like you play with it, but you know, I always think like right now it's really when two people are in alignment with God, you're already like kind of free because you have God in between you. It's already, you know, because you are creating literally group shields. So what we have is a group shield, and this is the return of the ESSENEs, because I said we are placeholders for these 12 original tribes and founder races, no matter where anyone is at or where anyone thinks they're connected to or how high up they're in some spiritual hierarchy. It's nothing about that. It's like we all have access to that consciousness.
Right.
That's what we need to remember. And it's all about self-empowerment. It's all about, let's do this together. Like I'm not perfect. And I know it's just, yeah, that sacred space. And even with these few people, it's actually more powerful than doing something for free online where everybody's shooting all kinds of energy at you. I can see whenever I put a price on something, actually, it's more powerful what the people receive. Also, when they give more money, they will get more. If people pay less, they get also less in a sense. Because money is energy.
Yeah.
It's the same like when people get triggered still by people asking for donations, what we're giving very freely, you know, for many, many years, basically.
Yeah.
And that's how we survived. And it's like, what do you think the earth is based on? It's all about energy exchange. So if you take money out of it, what would you give back?
Right.
So
Right. No,
so much. And it's like, if even people in the spiritual community can't understand this and then support us back for everything we've given and sacrificed to in order, I mean, I'm not speaking from the martyr perspective, but you know what I mean? You still need to kind of, you need to address it, because we had to claim back our worth and value in a sense where we did understand. It's not as if we didn't know it, you know, before, but it's just we could see this is what was necessary to do what we came to do. And then all of a sudden it was, okay, now charge money for it.
Yeah.
Because you just need to now, you know, because now we've brought everyone as far as we could. And now it's like, okay, can you see the value? If not, that's fine. You know, but we also need to, I mean, what are we supposed to live from?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the value thing
I can't do a normal job and do this. I really can't.
No.
You know what I mean?
No. Although
and many of us don't even do
to.
public work. They just do all of this energy shit shifting all the time without doing even anything public. And it's not about being public. It's just about like, we all need to understand if somebody is really helping you on your journey and is bringing you value, and you can see value in someone offering something to you, you know, it's like, I mean, anyway.
That was
you know,
that was quite the rant.
you know, but it's also in the field. This needs to,
no,
like,
I'm
we
with
need to
you.
be the change makers, because we can see it out there, and I also need to do it, you know, integrate it more than
I'm with you. I'm with you. This is exactly the same intel that you know that we received, was get off of that get on your own and develop value, claim your value. So what you're talking about, I've watched it for 3 months now, and a couple of times I've probably done like a couple of times we had tech issues, so I did a show on the old platforms, and then I did a couple of spirit walks, and some of the comments, they're ranged from all over, like, oh, I didn't know that you were, I wondered where you were, and then there was I can't afford it, you know, and there were all these other things in between. But to me, it's like the containers are more concentrated in their shared frequencies, right? Like the vibration's the same. There's nothing hidden, basically. It's up front, right? And I don't know. I feel like these creations are very important.
Yeah,
and there's probably a
I
lot
feel
of them
sure.
around the world. Yeah.
Because otherwise we keep recreating these templates where we keep struggling and we think we need to give everything away for free, because it's like an imbalance in the field energetically.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to bring in balance. And again, it was needed. It's the same as, you know, the healers heading to, you know, again, which is what we're kind of doing, is we had to give a lot in order to get us to this stage.
Right.
But then it's also, I mean, it's just about alignment, really, where basically we have been at this point where it's like everybody needs to decide now, do you want to do the hard work? Do you want to put an investment in? Because that's the thing, I've invested in things along the line. And, you know, it's like you get energetically back to it. But if we can't see the value in something that's kind of intangible beyond like some, I don't know, a bag of food from the supermarket or some shoes or a jacket, in comparison to something that's really helping you on your journey to keep you, you know, walking this path and helps your soul growth and expansion, that's literally invaluable. Because all of this 3D shit ultimately doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's not about, you know, I know many have been struggling, and I know exactly, like, especially this month. But that's the thing, we need to transcend these old value systems of what's really valuable to you. Is it your soul growth, or is it to look good?
Exactly.
You know, and we can actually easily do with 3 days without food, have a water fast, then nurturing our soul. And I'm not saying, you know what I mean? There's also the other issue where you then have people overcharging like thousands or hundreds, you know, many hundreds for a session and so forth. You know, there should be a balance. But I was very much shown by Source, no, this is the value you need to give it. And it's still, you're giving a lot more always. Because just energetically, what's there and what's being held in these containers. The same as we have done all this free stuff in order for us now to be able to ultimately merge with a reality where there's no more money. But again, there will still need to be an exchange, because what is money then? Time and energy.
Yeah. Because if it's not in
spending
balance,
time and energy doing this instead of going out to work in order to support other people through this really tough journey, which all of this is really about, no?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because if it's out of balance, it's, you know what it became for me? Energy depleting. Like I was so exhausted coming out of 2022.
Exactly.
I was like, for
because
2 months.
There's nothing coming back, and you can feel it in your field.
Yeah,
I could feel it too, and now I feel much better.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What you said. No, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and then March came. But even like March, April, and May has been kind of like you were in a, I don't know, like you went on a big journey and you're tired and you rest for a couple of months, and then you start getting back to work, and it's all happening differently. Like we've done fewer shows. This is what, the 45th show. We've probably done 80 things, 190 things in 3 months. That's not our old pace. We should do that in a month, right? But everything seems to be, I don't know how to explain it, but it's more like in coordination, you know, in cooperation, coordination, you know, moving together. I can feel the difference, but I feel like we're just getting started, all of us, in you know, and this whole thing, this pop, I feel like this pop is going to happen. I know it is in the next few days. I don't know what that means. Maybe it's what you're talking about.
I'm not sure either what exactly it is, whether
Yeah.
it's something to prepare us for the big waking up or whether it's fully waking up.
Yeah.
I don't know, because we're already in the in-between.
Yeah.
Like New Earth is for me already, like literally since, especially the 555, but it was even before that. I can't remember, like linear, I find really hard to remember what happened when at this point. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing is we need to, it's the same in relationships, you know, it's the same friendships, you know, when you have someone who's already always just talking about them, or that's always just draining your field and there's nothing coming back really in that relationship, you know, you're not really getting much out of it. If somebody doesn't really value you and just uses you, that's what has really happened energetically from the people watching us. You know what I mean? If
Yeah.
people would have even watched us, even just energetically appreciating us more, I think it would have felt better. That's the message I'm getting now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
I
'cause-
felt, I mean, it's been really tough, I have to say. And I'm not, again, you know, it's not like poor me. It's just like it's been, you know, you need to call a spade a spade. And yeah, that's not very popular. So you trigger a lot of egos or whatever, or people are just like, you know, because especially if you're going through the spiritual journey, I mean, I know myself, sometimes you watch a video and you're like, you know, judging ahead and you're like, oh, this is bullshit, blah, 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 before being, or this person is really annoying. But it's actually down to where you're at in that moment, you know, like it has nothing to do with the person ultimately, although you might not gel with the frequency, because it's really about frequency alignment and getting now also together with our soul tribe. That's what I'm feeling, where you're supporting one another. And again, you see their value, they see your value. It's not about anyone being above anyone else. It's creating these new communities in a way, which we're doing multidimensionally as well as, you know, still online. But what I've been doing, especially with this container alchemically, is like, I want everyone to keep merging this, like, we're already together now physically. We're in New Earth, you know what I mean? I want us to be physical. I want us to keep connecting telepathically. I want to keep strengthening that field. It's like a whole, you know, energetic, like, I mean, again, what we're seeing is, if you think that we're just seeing less than 1% of the light spectrum right now, and again, it's been good that we haven't been able to see everything because it's been mayhem. So this had to clear first, or is fully completing its clearing now, for the veil to fully lift. But we can see consciously, crystal clarity, remembering it's all here. Any moment now, it's just like us remembering a different past, and New Earth is here right now. Let's see how it plans out. I don't know. I keep not being shown. But Robin out there. New beginnings are here. For sure. One way or another. Because I just feel totally free. What I've just been through is like everything energetically and physically, like spiritually and physically especially, has been totally cleared out.
Now, this is over the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, especially.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just
And-
basically moved out of my old place, and now I'm kind of hopping in between Airbnbs. One of them is glamping, which is not very glamorous, but it's perfect for the weekend. We also have like a bank holiday weekend here, so it's a bit challenging right now. But anyway, and then on Sunday I'm moving again.
So are you
We'll
traveling
see.
alone? Are you traveling with a group or somebody else, or what?
No, on my own, yeah, physically on my own. But I've got a whole, you know, team
Yeah.
with me. So to say.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah,
Do you-
any moment now physically we'll be together.
Yeah.
I
I
think.
like what you say about essentially what you were saying about any connection, seeing the value in the mirror, right? Like, are you seeing the value? Are they seeing value in you? You know, that these are like, this is what's happening to people. I mean, I don't know what this is going to be like that you're talking about, and what this pop that I keep feeling is going to be, but it feels like all the bullshit's leaving, basically.
BS, belief systems, bullshit, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything the old matrix was based upon, it's all just leaving. And that's also why all the iconic negative entities and beings are fully leaving, because that's what they are a result of. It's toxic thought forms. It's where we give our power away, project all of our shit onto others, don't take responsibility.
What a mess. What a mess. I mean, what a beautiful mess
fuck,
we
this was
created to
such
get
a mess.
Now, you mentioned earlier too about the Kali Yuga and essentially the progression of the equinox, or whatever you call it. You were saying all that stuff is being birthed in reverse or something like that. Are you saying like the whole construct is coming down to the 0 point? Would you say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's fully been rebirthed. Even what's being talked about in ascension mechanics is just forget about all of this. Forget about everything you've ever been told. Just surrender it all. Surrender your little monkey mind who tries to remember what's right and wrong here.
Right.
Whether it is a spherical planet, whether it is a platform, nobody cares.
Right.
Really. It's a hologram. Surrender to source, allow source to rebirth creation through you. I mean, what do you have to lose? You surely don't know it all.
Right.
What you're remembering now isn't written out there because it's a history free of invasions and fallen consciousness. Because only when we remember a different history can we have a different present and then future. And it's like what you're seeing right now, it's like an afterthought of what we have been thinking based on all of these inversions within the consciousness, based on fear, which is literally false evidence appearing real. It's all bullshit. And we're remembering basically God's source consciousness. If you think and see everything through God's eyes and God's mind and God's heart, what would you project but heaven on earth? What I see is basically an organic creatrix field, which is beyond, like kind of this overlay. It's like this kind of overlay, artificial overlay. And as this fully dissolves any freaking moment now, we see the organic creatrix field. And it's like very much like a multidimensional playing field, 15D basically, but it's really God world, God consciousness. Everybody lives in God source consciousness, but there will still be differences because you still have to have challenges of how far to ascend. So some of us are ascending and holding this template of the 15D and that full light body activation. So I see the forerunners fully activating this field, but then you will still have people within different, like let's say a new Lemuria, a new Atlantis, a new Tartaria, a new, whatever you might think about. And it's very much like a video game. It's very malleable because again, it's all holographic and everything has turned crystalline liquid light. Yeah.
God.
Many of us can already feel it any moment now. It's literally when I really dip into it, it's like I'm just liquid light for weeks now. And there's just no more doubt. It's just, you just see everything else is clearing. Although again, yesterday it was not, it's like you have to go all in as well. And sometimes, you have these moments where it's like you question everything, you question your sanity, you question is ascension even real? Like, am I real? It's like, you
I know what you mean.
Like, anything will come to you, like, like, am I the devil? It's like you have to literally accept all versions of reality, fully merge with them. The same as the naysayers. I could actually see myself going through all the naysayers of, we've been hearing this for 20 years. And it's like, you've been saying this, blah, 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 blah. All of these people. It's like, I could see myself even saying the same to kind of source in a way energetically. What the fuck? I'm so done here.
Yeah. So, yes, I can relate to that. I'm sure everybody else can. Even just recently, like you mentioned yesterday a couple of times, you don't have to get personal or anything, but like, was that feeling everything going into all the shit and everything? Was that kind of day where you just had to sit with stuff or work stuff out?
It was much more collective. So I always tune into the collective field. And as I said, as I was at the beach, I could literally feel myself as a cosmic mother reverse birthing all of the iconic negative entities, AI, all of the shit back to source. It's like a reverse birth. It was so freaking intense. And then for hours after, I could feel all of these energies. It felt like a total disconnect. I could see how and I've been shown before, but this was kind of going all the way in. The black heart affliction, where you feel just total apathy. You don't feel anything anymore. It's like, okay, I'm totally done. I will never open my heart up to love again. And I was like, I know what I'm here for, but I could literally in that moment not see how I would ever be able to open up my heart again. That kind of feeling.
Right.
And literally suicidal, as in just make this stop. I'm so over this fucking rodeo ride and this reality. I mean, I've been feeling this a lot lately, more and more. But I know that, and I was reminded that it's the consciousness we're releasing, because I work so much with this kind of collective exorcism, as I call it, So really clearing all of these dark energies through my field back to source. So I feel the consciousness, like I need to neutralize that really dark consciousness through my field by just being able to hold these really, really dark energies and just observe them to clear them. So no judgment, no resistance, no fighting in a way. But it's also you need to be fully in your power. You know, you need to just know you're one with God. It's all a projection. And ultimately, you know, I've given birth to this. So I am the one who can return it back to source. So, and again, everybody has access to this because we're all one mind. Okay. The whole cosmos is within your field and you're just projecting it out. It's hologram. We are merging with that one mind. But again, it's also down to my contract of what I'm clearing here. So I get really like, I have not had fun over the last many years. It has not been a life. But anyway, so I could feel that whole purging happening. And then through the night, I just had to keep clearing it. But today,
Yeah, today feels,
and I know from the fields what I'm sensing. It's like we're basically this is just it.
yeah. Yeah, today, the previous 2 days, lots of sleep, lots of thinking, lots of solitude. If I didn't do a show, lots of walking, lots of that apathy you were talking about.
Just 1 second. Can I actually just go to the toilet 1 moment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sec.
Just put it on mute. She's funny. She's funny. Powerful lady. Yeah, I put up a bunch of posts today on Facebook. I think I might even put them on YouTube. Had a bunch of shows that kind of fell into place. What are we talking about here? We got Nicole McAdoo tonight. Tomorrow, Debbie DuBose, Alicia Brachet, Stephen Kerr. Sunday, we got a Soulogy panel. We got Darius Wright. Monday the 29th, Sandra McCleaf. 30th, Sherry Matson. 2nd, Tanya LaCarter. Edini Renata from Greece. Then we get,
you would otherwise hear that.
I'm sure. You know what's funny is I did a show back in 2018 with Lisa Transcendence Brown. The first time we did about 4 shows together. It was the first one we ever did, and it was 4 hours. And halfway through, she goes, "Let's take a break. I got to go to the restroom." I'm like, "Okay, I'll take one too." And I was staying in a basement, and I walked all the way around, and the restroom was right next to the microphone, so everybody heard me. So that's why
I remember that one actually. I think
Do
you
you?
had interesting experiences at
Yeah,
her place. I met her as well actually in Kauai in 2015.
really? Okay,
Yeah.
far out. Yeah, I've thought about Kauai a lot lately. Like,
Well, it's connected to the 12th Stargate
Yeah.
in Montsegur.
yeah, I saw that. I saw where there's, yeah, it was the 12 Stargates, because I never saw anything about Stargates. Yeah, I never get stuff like that. But on March the 1st, I woke up and I'm like, there's Stargates everywhere. So I started researching it and, whatever. But I found that Kauai, there were a couple of places, a couple of the Stargates were places I've been. And then, oh, what's that?
I know, just a big crown opening happening as well at the moment. Activation. So what happened also in Kauai, what's held there, I remember when I went there, it kicked my ass. For the first week, I was there for 10 days. And for the first week, I could feel all of my chakras activating and just spinning. I was just lying on the bed like, and it wasn't fun. So the last 3 days, I could kind of function again. But basically what's held there, which I only found out later, is the Lemurian massacre.
Yeah.
So the last priestesses, the last Eani kind of gray lines. So those that held the ancient blueprints, like the source codes for creation, were massacred and taken off to Nibiru
Right.
from there. And the twin flames, the original twin flames, were also separated there. So basically, because this is very much related to, I felt the invasion timelines clearing massively, and this is the last bit we've cleared. And this is also what's now bringing the twin flames into full hierogamic union, mentally, emotional, spiritually, physically. And which is completing ascension, because they hold these original source codes, so the original blueprint for creation literally within their field. So as they heal, all heals. That's what I see. This is how all of this really works. And it's connected also to the crystalline core. It's connected to the pole shift, as I see it, which is mostly energetic. Again, you know, all of these kind of catastrophic storylines, you need to kind of question, where do they even come from? Are they even real? And what we're accessing now is beyond any kind of 3D science.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Anyway.
No, but that what you
It's
just
more about
said,
an energetic alignment to you to be able to access pure source energy, so you can be a self-sustaining energy field. So you don't need to suck off other people's energies.
right.
But there's, you know, you see, so this is the big piece. It's got to do with the, you know, the way our energy bodies work, okay, being reconnected to eternal God source flows. It's connected to the crystal lotus flower, and it's connected to the Yanyon flow, which is kind of a butterfly pattern instead of having like a torus field in your field, which connects it to source. And it's like it's basically eternal life. So you have a forever perpetuating energy flow. It doesn't run out, you know, at like 80, 100 years. And this is connected to many things, especially to our DNA blueprint, which again, the invading races took in order to, you know, manipulate it and then, you know, create their own fallen matrix system. They needed our codes for this.
Right.
And so basically we as the forerunners hold this, and all of us gray lines hold this, which are the indigos, you know, which are the star races, however you want to call it. So we all hold this, but some of us, like the original twin flames, who are the original founder races, and guardians, they, you know, from Lemuria, especially like those Iani priesthoods, they held these, you know, we literally hold creation in our blueprint, in our DNA, and it's our film strip, and then we project it out. So as they collect all the codes, all of their quantum, all of their multidimensional selves, and they heal again, and I believe they come together again as the twin flames, because them breaking apart as the invading races came in, and it was basically like the masculines let them in, and the feminines then were persuaded to go, you know, to Nibiru in order to save their masculines. But this has created such a big, you know, in order for them to survive. So like we let them live if you come with us, you know what I mean? And then they took them up to forced breeding projects. You can look this up on also ascensionglossary.com, like when you look up Lemuria.
I listen, I remember the day it happened. I remember the day it happened.
It's a big, big, big wound.
It's huge. I didn't know, I hadn't made the connection of the twins being there, but I was there and I remember very clearly. I've talked about it on a lucid dream, but I remember the day it happened, and the story you're telling, which was basically immediately the men were enslaved because we weren't of the physical, we didn't have the physical power they had. There was no contest. And then they took all the women and said, that's exactly what I remember. You got to come with us. We got to breed you or we'll kill them. Well, they ended up killing us anyway.
Yeah.
And they
or enslaving and torturing.
Yeah. And they ended up killing the women, a lot of the women anyway. But yeah, that came back to me too a few weeks ago, when, like you talk about owning everything, and I was taken through, you know, that point and all the separation, fractures, and struggles between masculine and feminine, you know, as lived through my twin, let's say, but also through the reptilian line, where I had to go in and own all of that, right? And so I think that was probably late April or early May when that came back in. But yeah, I can feel like a tremendous amount of lineage or ancestral energetic you know, neutralization or zero pointing within my body, especially these last 2 weeks. It's very strange. Sometimes it feels very personal, but there's a part of me telling me this is collective. Don't make it personal. It's happening to everybody. This is what you're feeling. Your world's not crumbling. To just chill, go for a walk, you know, something like that. Wow. I'm glad you explained that. I'm glad you explained that a lot. And then the thing about the value, I think is so important, but I hadn't heard someone say it that simply. Like anytime you sit down, look, there's 22 here now. But anytime that we sit with
21, 12.
there you go.
24 number.
So you have two people or more, and they sit down consciously, conscious of value that they bring and value that they, you know what I mean? It's
Instead
the
of just
first
people sitting
thing.
there nodding and whatever,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
especially if you do group work and, you know, it's a bigger investment. It's like this kind of, okay, this is for, you know, are you taking this seriously? Are you all in, or are you just like a tourist
Right.
here, you know, like kind of,
Right.
because some people are just, you know, often if you do things for free, just nodding there, or, you know, again, projecting negative stuff at you. And this has a big effect on the field, the consciousness, because again, you're creating a group field every time, you know, you're creating these containers. So any discongruence, you know, in the field, if you have haters there, you feel it in your field, it will be jarring the field, it will not be as powerful. The more people, like what I always say, is like when we can come together and share the space and we are all in congruence with what's being shared here, this is fully going out within the consciousness as a truth, basically.
Right.
Because it's all about, so what also the whole Lemurian massacre is important about is healing the masculine feminine split, because through that there's been a break of trust.
Right.
First of all, heartbreak, but trust, because both of them blaming each other. It's like the masculines blame the feminines. Why did you go off with them? You know, we should have just said, here, take us, just kill us all. But you know, anyway, it's also, there's a higher, like I got a message a few weeks back, we allowed ourselves to be raped in the name of love, because there's a lot more to the whole interbreeding, because, you know, we offered them kind of official kind of DNA rehabilitation programs, but they would have never caused as much of a consciousness expansion that we have experienced through mixing reptilian and the divine human DNA.
Right.
There are many levels to this. It's a really divine co-creation of the one.
Yeah.
And ultimately, we're forgetting all of this. We have healed all of this. It will be like a bad dream, like it has never happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why we did this.
Well,
it's the consciousness dreaming all of this. It's like I used to call this like, it's like Earth is like a virtual torture chamber.
Jesus.
My grandfather used to, I think, say they always find new ways of torturing us. He knew. Anyway, so I mean, there's a lot in connection to that, but basically, so there's this, and then the feminine obviously is like, yeah, but you let them in the first place. You believe these assholes, you know. So it's like, but the thing is, like, it's the reconciliation of understanding why we did it, that even they came in, the reptilians, yeah, or the invasions, is that I see it as the masculine feminine. We were an androgynous body, we split into two. This just created a distortion. And because we needed to basically, it's like you're 50-50%. And we had to become 100% within ourselves, because again, the new blueprint is the Kryst Saphira, so it's, or the Christos Sophia blueprint. So it's like an androgynous blueprint where you're either in masculine or feminine form still, but you're also androgynous. So you're balanced, masculine, feminine, giving and receiving energies, action, and, you know,
it's like a trinity. It's like another trinity, another triad.
Yes,
androgynous, masculine, feminine. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're rebirthing the Christ child. The second coming of the Christ is us, and it's done now. This was already done at Easter time. The Christ are like the new cosmic Christ, kind of the new blueprint coming fully online, and the old being cleared. But since then, it's just clearing, and keep, you know, going through these activations. And at the 555, I saw literally again, it's the Kundalini, the Kundalini fully connecting us collectively to source, and we're all awakening, and it's all online. And it's just clearing out a lot of the debris, you know, so it's like any blocks, anything has been just clearing out, and it's coming from up above and from the core. And that's also the masculine feminine merging, you know, on all layers and levels. It's all about balance. That's why we had to bring more balance into our fields. You know, if you keep over giving and not getting enough back, it's creating an imbalance.
Right.
And even if it's just a few people, you will still feel more balanced in your field.
Right.
because
That's
it's
right.
beyond money,
Yeah.
what we're accessing, obviously, which we all know, but you get me, it's about energy. So if it wasn't money, we would still be exchanging some kind of energy. If you're constantly giving and nobody's giving back to you, it's an issue in your field.
Yeah.
That's why we felt drained all the time.
That's
also,
Yeah.
besides all the iconic bullshit going on.
Yeah, no kidding, right? God, you just said something else. I wanted to ask you one other thing. Yeah, you were talking about masculine, feminine.
It's all interconnected with having a sovereign energy field. That's the only way you can connect to your eternal,
Right.
original source blueprint. When you're no longer allowing people to just feed off you or you feeding others, you know, this whole codependent narcissistic bullshit.
Yeah, it
that
won't
you see
work.
on all
It
layers
won't
and
work.
level.
It won't work. And
It's done.
I feel what you're saying. I can feel it. I still feel like it's something's gonna pop out of me, but or pop
Yeah.
out of me and on me. I don't know.
Well,
But
it's a
oh, I
start
know what I
of-
was.
I believe.
Go ahead.
I believe what we are expecting is this big supernova of the heart event, as I call it, where you just your heart is just gonna pop open. It's just love bliss, and it's just a collective awakening.
Wow. See
That's
that?
what I feel ultimately.
That's what I feel right here. I feel it here. Sometimes it gets stuck in my throat, but it's mostly here. Sometimes I get really excited. Like I don't see anything, but my heart will start fluttering. And that's usually when I go for a walk because and it feels like, I know it's going to sound silly, but it feels like love. It feels like, you know what I mean? Like a sunburst or something like that.
The heart is like of the sun. So the heart is the center also where the masculine and feminine meet. Like I see this like as a sun cross. And this is also the core of your mechabic field.
Okay.
So this is where like the feminine staff and the masculine rod meet. So the horizontal and vertical alignment of your field. And that has been out of place, you see? So we've been feeding into phantom matrix. So the staff has been kind of off. And that's also why we have an axial tilt. This is all connected to the pole shift. And it's also connected to the false magnetic field in our ionosphere. It's all false. So us rebuilding, healing the tribes, the split within the families, the split within the masculine, feminine, the split within the twin flames, which is ultimately a split fragmentation of the one consciousness.
Right.
Us all being fragmented with our various pieces and aspects within. That's also what's causing the outside fragmentation. And even us, you know, us being lost in separation is why we see even, you know, us as not being able to just beam ourselves all together whilst, you know, instead of looking at laptops, you know what I mean? Like teleporting, that we even perceive the separation of time and space because it's really a 3D concept. You know, if we think of all the superpowers activating now, you know, we transcend time and space and gravity. It's necessary. And the original, like the super magnetism, the original natural Earth's magnetism is returning. Also, as the feminine right now, what I've been shown is just a lot of receiving, just pull back, just open up wide, whilst I've been very busy, obviously, with gate and grid work and shit clearing.
Right.
But you get me. It's both, and as in the feminine, because you see like the roles have been inverted and reversed also between the masculine and feminine. You can see this in the spiritual community also, that you see a lot of feminines, and it makes a lot of sense also because the feminine rebirths. And I believe the new Kryst Saphira template, it's all about even the men rebirthing themselves as slightly more magnetic or slightly more feminine, which is more heart-led basically. But there still be, you know, obviously more masculine than ever kind of before than we have, you know, known. It's like really remembering what is it really to be the new archetype of the cosmic divine feminine or divine masculine, whilst you kind of both end. It's the both end, you know. And what was I going with that? Oh yeah, the magnetism. So it's also again connected to having 4 poles instead of just 2 poles, as I see in the earth, as well as us. And it's very much about the masculine and feminine again coming into full balance, realigning the planetary field. But again, it's beyond that because it's still a hologram and we don't even want to try and figure this out in our heads. But it's more the energetic kind of, it makes sense because this is kind of how this flow of energy, because I've been also shown this as a triple spiral kind of an expansion in your field where, you know, you don't just have bipolar energies, but they're swirling throughout your field, and it's basically constantly being recycled. And we're actually doing this as we can hold the 0-point field, as you're kind of anchoring higher frequencies, and you're clearing out the lower simultaneously whilst you're holding the 0-point field of divine love, neutrality, and oneness. You know, like I been going through loads of stuff, but you just like, you just, you know, as you said, this shift where you just are able to keep the balance.
Right.
And it's also connected to the Holy Grail activations. I also see like Holy Chalice activation. So it's the third eye, the heart, and the sacral, which
Okay.
have now lastly connected. So last of a lot of what has happened over the last week I've seen is like the sacral and the heart healing and reconnecting again, because the heart and the mind already kind of have. And it's this kind of trinity, you know, the three Dantians, it's also connected to that. But it's kind of, you know, again, kind of an upgraded version of that, which brings all of these centers in balance. And then also within our own system, where we can now co-create, not from some inverted mind, ego bullshit perception, which creates this kind of shit, but from a heart-led, you know, perspective, but it's in unison and balance with the mind and also the sacral, because even as a man, you have a sacred womb or cosmic womb. We all have this, where you also birth your creations from. So, you know, it's for me, the three centers are very much important for, first of all, keeping that balance within, having this Holy Trinity in that way as well, you know, you are creating from, you know, because the sacral is very much also connected now to the new families, the new communities, birthing, because why have these kind of communities not worked before? Because the consciousness wasn't there, you know what I mean?
Right.
It only comes now together. You can only really create this without all of the interference, all of the egos present. You know what I mean? When nobody thinks more or less, and you don't have competition and jealousy and all this nonsense going on. Because another thing is authenticity and truth is so important in this new, you know, relationships of all kinds, next to reciprocity of give and take.
Yeah, reciprocity is important. That's what you're talking about, the equal exchange and the value given and received. Yeah, so just kind of a last comment or question, but yeah, it seems like, you know, there's so many different ways to try to explain this. You've done a great job, by the way. But it seems like one of the ways to look at it is this, what we're talking about, what you're telling us about today, what's happening to us is becoming so huge that really it's becoming our priority every day in a bigger way than ever. And what I mean by that is we're worrying less about money. We're worrying less about fitting in, or even what's happening, what the newspapers tell you, or whatever. It's like it's getting real localized. It feels like that will continue. Do you think that's the way it's going to go? We're just going to be more and more present in the space we're in, even though that doesn't just mean the physical space, as we might refer to it. You could, like, because you could be sitting right here next to me in my space, in my presence, you know, I mean, and from my own field, right? Or anybody else or whatever. But do you feel like that's how it's going to go? Like more of a being the player in the dream kind of thing? Like,
yeah, and it's like focusing on what's really real, because what you mentioned is a lot of the unreal.
Right.
Like there's you can look it up on YouTube, like the theory of the dead internet. It's a lot of what's, you know, like of reality, parts of reality, that's all just bullshit. It's all just fake. So yeah, focus on, like, a big part anyway of multidimensional integration right now is to bring all of your multidimensional selves into this body right here, right now.
Right.
So being fully present in the here and now without being distracted by all of the falseness, especially, is a big part of you doing that. So of you multidimensional activating and, you know, integrating your higher self, your higher identities. Because I know from my experience, I felt for many years very ungrounded.
Okay.
Not being able to be present, you know, with people or in my reality whatsoever. There's always something going on, especially when we have a lot of, until I used to feel really bad about it until I really understood. And a healer also helped me with that by seeing, you know, how much I was doing and was happening, and really got me, you know, and could see this. And I wasn't feeling so useless, because when you feel like this, when you're integrating so much and you feel useless and you're just in bed, or these years that I spent in bed, you know, you're doing massive work. Everything is inverted here. Everything is upside down. It's been a big message, this upside down world. And it's again also connected to the poles. But anyway, what was I getting at? What were you asking again? Sorry. When
I was just talking about how it's getting to be so loud that it's becoming like the priority in a much bigger way. Like
the
like
real
even before
reality,
we
yeah.
think about eating or sleeping, even what you said about the sleeping or being on your back. Like the last
What?
2 days, I probably been on my back 24 to 28 hours.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is we're doing work when we're doing that.
Well, you're merging the higher dimensional frequencies with this one. And especially at the moment, like before you go to bed or as you're waking up, like stay there. If you can stay there, this is like lucid dream time. You can really access and anchor, activate these higher dimensional new earth realities right now, especially. Because all of this, what has kept us recreating the old is gone. All of this false programming is gone. So now you're no longer worrying about all the bullshit. So you're no longer recreating it, because just imagine if you would not worry about money, you would have nothing to worry about.
Right.
And literally right now, it's like, imagine you would have nothing to worry about. It literally isn't. But it literally isn't. And if you feel it, everybody's at a different stage. If I feel bad tomorrow, whatever, but I really feel this is gone. Like I have always been very much, about the groundedness. I've always been very much tuned into the collective field. I feel everybody's suffering in a way, to that kind of, in that way. So I know we have shifted the big shitstorm now. I can feel it in the field. I see it in the field. I just know it, and other people can see it too. But as you integrate, I understood at one point, I feel also so ungrounded because I've got just such a huge DNA blueprint. I've got so many DNA strands, because as an indigo, you don't have just like the normal angelic human 12 to 15 now, 15 DNA strands, but 24, 36, 48. I also believe now it's the 72 or the 144, the whole, which we ultimately all have, the whole divine blueprint of the 144 subharmonic strands of DNA. And I believe it's triple helix, and it's also +3. Anyway, beyond compartmentalization, it's a lot to integrate. So and also it's a fragmentation. So if we went through a lot of trauma, we have a lot to integrate, and we haven't been feeling present. As everything heals and your multidimensional self is finally safe to come home. Because this is literally about your true self coming home. That's you coming home to New Earth from the inside out. Because it's an inside out event. It's not us waiting for some disclosure. It's not us waiting for rescue packages. It's not us waiting for some ETs to come home. Us for like solar flash, nothing. It's an inside out event. All of this is about you deepening into divine love and what that means. But it also means discernment, boundaries, standards, limit. That's what we had to learn, because again, we weren't prepared in the Lemurian times. But now that we have merged with the darkness as well, we are now 1% psychopaths. So if this would happen again, yes, we would know how to defend ourselves. And in a way, we've been reversing. So we had to cut out all of these attacks. You know what I mean? We had to seal our field. And this only happens if you bring all of your multidimensional self back, fully heal yourself, unify with your multidimensional self. But again, you need to have these boundaries and discernments, because otherwise your field and where you give your power away, it creates holes. This is why these entities kept coming back in, and that's also why they exist in the first place. It's because you're giving your power away. It's toxic thought forms, belief systems that then have taken on a life of their own. But as we fully get rid of all the programming and all the trauma and wounds are healed, and now what we've done over the last few days was the last heart healing, and again the heart and the sacral or cosmic womb. So we're all set. All I see is I feel, see, that's the only, I know, there's just no more doubt. And now we can create from our heart's content. And once you're in alignment with divine will and have surrendered your false ego self, which has created all the mayhem in the first place, you create, God creates through you. He's dreaming through you. He, she, it, which we all are. And I see the new spirituality also as it's just the most natural thing, whether you're even an atheist right now, but your heart is open, you know what I mean? It's like just, we're the super consciousness field. It's us remembering ourselves as God. It's not us following some religion or some belief system, you know what I mean? It's just us having some common set of sense morals, ethics, and values, which are literally written into your DNA. It's your conscience speaking to you every now moment. All you have to do right now is follow your intuition every now moment after another before your monkey brain sits in. If it does, say bye-bye, surrender it to the heart, your heart is yours, and you're fine. Every now moment, you will know what you need to know. I see as the old goes offline, we know exactly what to do. It's just a remembering. Again, we will just remember as a collective what has really happened. But the forerunners do this as we do all the hard work, you know, like consciously. But everybody is part of this. You need to see the collective as like, we're the spiritual leadership or kind of the heart and mind of the cosmic body. And again, you are the ascended masters, you are the guardians, you're the ones you've been waiting for, literally, okay? As you fulfill your highest heroic potential, you're doing this on behalf of the whole body, and like the masses are kind of the arms and the legs and the rest of the body. Yeah, and we're all just fulfilling our own unique purpose. And everybody now is remembering what has really happened, who they are, who everybody else is. This clears everything up. You shall know the truth, remember it, and it shall set you free. It's not some outside in disclosure, it's an inside out event, everything, because it's an inside out creation. That's what we're remembering. We are co-creating this all the time as one. That's why nothing is much set here. So it's constantly depending on what's everybody else doing. You know, the same with my situation. I know it's like so much dependent on not just freaking me, obviously, but you know, everybody, especially within the cosmic monad of the forerunners, fulfilling the highest heroic potential for us to fully, you know, press that button, or rather God's source, as I see it. It's magic flower.
You're magic, man. You can't be like this all day. You'd run out of juice.
I could, but I do run out of juice.
Let me ask you this: where is your container located? Is it something you want to tell us about, or is it private, or what do you want to do on that?
No, people can still join if they want to. It's priced like free, like 333 euros for the entrance, but it includes also a private session with me.
Where do you find? Where do you? Is it on your website, or where is it?
Well, I have Ko-fi. So if you just check out my YouTube, just look at Ramona Lapin.
Oh, on YouTube? Okay, got you.
On YouTube, and underneath any of my last few videos, you will see the description. Like you see a link, and it goes to Ko-fi. Is just like it's a middle, you know, I have like kind of a page there, and you can access the details. It was like kind of a monthly container, like, so I'd opened it in April, and then I had some new joiners in May. Some of the old container left as well. And I still have some open places, and it includes like basically you get a free session, but it's also mainly it's a Facebook chat group. So I give, you know, we just chat together in a chat group. It's not overly obsessive, you know, like chatting all day long, but it's just, you know, the messages that are worth sharing, we share there. I usually share that daily. It's mostly an energetic container, so they're everywhere. So it's like us online, having like weekly group calls, which go for quite a few hours. We do activations live as well. And we just share whatever comes up. So far, I'm still the main speaker, but I'm trying to get the others as well to speak more.
Right.
So we're getting there, because I want us all, you know, I want everybody to be just empowered. And it doesn't matter whether we do something, you know, online, or whether we do just speak to the grocer or to our friend or mother. It's about being the speaker or being the mouthpiece for God, you know, being God's messenger, as in bringing this higher consciousness, higher truth, divine love forth in every now moment. That's our job. That's us being the spiritual leaders. It's us showing other people how to lead themselves, because we all need to be our own gurus. We don't want to be some little teachers, gurus who everybody is just depending on. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't do that. I don't. If anyone wants to give me their power, I'm like, no, I have it right back here.
Yeah, you keep it.
So it's all about this, and it's energetic. I can see this field has literally healed the planetary shield, the Kryst shield, and we are fully healing now. Again, 6 to 15D as I see completing right now. And again, it's also, you know, very multidimensional, because people in the group are in very different stages as well in the ascension process, and you know, have different levels of awareness of what's going on. And even I find it sometimes hard to explain it, because again, it's like us speaking here. There's so much more happening. The people who are present, the consciousness field, this is a group field we are creating. Also the people later on listening, they're still partly multidimensionally present here. Everything we speak is an activation. I know the power of every video, every post I write, every, thing I do, even if it's just 1 or 2 people, there's only one of us here anyway. So if you do it from that perspective, your work can become very powerful. As soon as there's congruence in the field and no interfering frequency, you're creating. If it's more than one person focusing on one thing, and it's all about the consciousness. So anchoring these higher levels of consciousness is what's helping us ascend with every video we make, with every post we write, kind of thing, with every word we speak. But ultimately, it's who we are being whilst we're doing whatever we're doing. And again, it doesn't matter what anyone says, what are they actually transmitting? Because it only becomes powerful if the person is really also embodying what I speak about. Because that's how you're transmitting the frequency. And that's why it's activating in your field, or everybody who's, everybody will pick up what they're ready for listening to me. But what I'm speaking about, the frequencies that are being transmitted, that's the real interesting thing, the activation. Because if I wouldn't be embodying what I speak about, it's not there in the field. And that's the problem which we have seen. Some people have said they're doing one thing, but actually what's being transmitted is action inversion. It's a reversal of what they're saying they're doing. They're masters at this, the imposters, at reversing, inverting.
Are they conscious? Are they conscious of it? Or is it, or could it be described
Some
as,
are.
or could it be
I mean, the ones who are masters at this, there are some, leaders out there, but again, they're like old news now.
But I mean, like some people, it'd be like, I think another way to look at it too, maybe, is to like check ourselves. It's like, it's one thing to know it or get the information. It's another thing to actually do it, right? That's what you're saying. If they're not actually living it, then it's not going to have the attraction or the magnetization that it could have.
It doesn't activate it within the viewers as much as when you speak about it and you're embodying it. Yes. So what I do, for example, is I know I mainly speak to myself. So I watch like my cosmic videos, like my cosmic energy updates, I watch back usually. Because I know they're from myself, and I will be reminded later on as well of these main reminders, what I've been speaking about. It will come back in my own mind what I spoke about. And the same with my posts. I will read my own posts because they're all activations, and I know they're reminders for myself. So it's like I'm embodying it as well as I'm integrating it more further, because that's how we should all see it. Anything we give to anyone as advice is giving it to yourself.
That's right. That's right.
And that's how you can actually be nice in integrity, and it's the same as I get still things wrong. And, but even getting things wrong, I see right now, it's like often, it's like, no, it's still kind of right. And so it's everything, it's the same as, okay, this has been a shit show, but it's also been divinely perfect. It's this both ends. And that's you really, merging and unifying the polarities within a 0-point field, as you can see it from God's perspective, as well as knowing the higher truth. You know what I mean? What's right and what's wrong, or what's in a higher consciousness and what is not serving us. But it doesn't come from judgment and fighting, or, like keep feeding that which you don't want, which you do because you're giving it your attention, your life force. But it comes from neutrality. That's like, what is reality? But it's a quantum standing wave function. It's a sine wave. You collapse realities from that neutral observer perspective, where you do no longer get triggered into judgment or reactions. Again, it doesn't mean that you can't have feelings or anything, but you will no longer go for the feeding frenzy. You will not feed those people who are trying to trigger you or trying to feed off you and not giving anything back, because that's part of your sovereignty. That's the only way how you're healing your field. Everybody still needs to do this for themselves. It's like the instruction sets and your blueprints are in the field, but you still need to align with them. And it's really via your consciousness, because you can feel what is aligned and what's not aligned now in every now moment. It's very self-explanatory.
Excellent. God.
Excellent.
So this has been an awesome show. God, I'll get this over to you like in about 15 or 20 minutes, so you can share it wherever you want to. Okay.
Well, thanks. Yeah, just because I know it will, I wanted to otherwise do cosmic energy update, but I knew I might not want to.
Yeah.
Speak so
well,
much
I mean,
today.
I do, and I've said, yeah, I've said this on the show, but just so everybody knows, if you happen to hear this for the first time, any guest that comes on, we give the full length editable replay for them to share on social media, do whatever they want to. So that's
cool.
yeah. All right. Well, Ramona, it's so good seeing you. I can't wait till the next time we get together and see what
At your
happens.
campfire, let's meet there. Keep tuning in every morning whenever you're lying down, daydreaming. Keep tuning into New Earth. What are we doing there? Levitating, flying, having fun.
There you
Let's
go.
make it so. Everything and anything is possible now. All the obstacles, all the karmic debris, all the black magic, all of the shit. Done.
Done.
Back to source. What you're seeing
Mm.
right now is like an after effect. Keep focusing on, well, just surrender really and let God's soul stream through you. It's
Hallelujah.
happening. We're not in
Hallelujah.
control here.
Hallelujah. Hey, you take care of yourself, and thank you so much for
You
coming in.
too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for all you're being and doing. Thank you for having me.
All right. All blessings.